Hey everybody, it's Mark Schultz here with DigitalAircraft, and I am here at the London Heathrow Airport. I'm headed out here for a conference with AircraftIT. It's pretty exciting to be able to be traveling internationally right now, except what we find is that there's a lot of challenges within the system right now, and I have an expert that I'm going to bring in just a minute where we're going to talk about some of the challenges and how you can address some of those in your own business. So stick with me. You're going to want to hear this. We're going to talk about production control and how we optimize maintenance out there today. Hey, welcome everybody. Hi, Mike. How are you today?
Good, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So I have with me today Mike Clark, and Mike is with Ramco Systems. And Ramco is one of the leading MRO systems in the industry today, with focus on MROs, on airlines, on helicopter operators, and defense. And Mike, what do you do within the company?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Mark. So I help manage business development and pre-sales activities for Ramco Systems here in the Americas. So very much involved with cultivating business and meeting with other businesses out there, understanding the lay of the land and trying to deliver optimal solutions from a software perspective.
Perfect. I know people, when they're watching, a lot of times like to know what people's backgrounds are. What's your background? What brings you to being involved in MRO systems today?
Sure, absolutely. So about 14 total years of IT experience dealing with large-scale ERP implementations. I'd say the last 4 or 5 years or so have been primarily in the aviation industry in various different subsegments. I've helped large international airports with their ERP and their logistical problems, and now more so moving to the maintenance and engineering software side of the house for the last about 4 years now. So.
Excellent. Good to see you have that kind of experience to bring to the conversation. So hey, I want to start out by having a little bit of a talk. This was actually my first international trip in a couple of years. I know a lot of people have flown internationally. I know you have, but I've just been focusing on some of my domestic activity, for a couple of years now. And when I flew out here, boy, I tell you what, there were some challenges. I happened to go by Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I went from Charlotte to Dublin. And there was a little bit of weather there, but man, let me tell you what, there was backups in Charlotte, tremendously. I walked down the hallway when I got off my airplane, and I'll bet there was 500 or 800 people in line at the desk trying to get their flights changed. I mean, we're really seeing a lot of stress on the system out there today, aren't we, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely, and I can certainly concur from my perspective as well. Based here in Orlando, Florida, and almost every time I fly out, lots of backups, lots of backlog there in the airport, flight cancellations, and things like that. A lot of different competing factors are actually contributing to that. I know that's what you want to speak about today, but primarily what I'm seeing is that shortage in labor as well as materials and that backlog that happens on a production floor from a maintenance perspective. I think is really driving a lot of this.
Yeah, I think, it's really challenging the last couple of years, and even now yet today, for us to be able to be agile enough to be able to adapt to what's happening. There's labor shortages. We have, skill problems and challenges of having the right people. We have, inflationary costs attacking our system right now. And we have, supply chain shortages, quantities, things like that. And, I think that it's absolutely important that we continue to remain agile for the system to be able to function properly. We have to be able to be very efficient in what we do. Mike, what is, just at a really, really high level, what kind of things is Ramco doing, to help address efficiencies in the marketplace today?
Sure, absolutely. So within our Ramco systems, within our aviation application, we have a very, very robust electronic publications module, or EPUBs for short. And I think this is really the next wave of functionality that I think a lot of MROs and operators need to get on board with, where essentially we're able to digitize the already digital manuals and IPCs and things like that, and actually extract meaningful information from those, such as material requirements, skill requirements, piece parts, and things like that. Not only that, being able to author digital task cards from an application and being able to push those to your production floor, having robust version control and things of that nature to make sure that the latest and greatest is out there on the shop floor. I think that's really a game changer, and that's something that we at Ramco Systems have been developing and perfecting over the last few years.
Yeah, I know you guys have been focusing on bringing digital, to the marketplace, so in the form of task cards and things like that. And so let's take it to the next step downstream. Is when we have a digital task card and we have it like on a mobile device, for example, now we're faced with this challenge of production control. And if I bring in the topic of production control, what we're talking about, for those of you that are watching out there today, for those of us that have walked into a hangar before, we see the production control board on the wall where all the paper task cards are sitting in the slots in the board, waiting to be distributed out to people. And now that we've gone digital and we've put those on mobile devices, now we have to have automated, production control. All right. And so, Mike, what are some of the things that people are doing out there today to be able to automate that production control process, the work assignment, the checking of skills and qualifications, all that kind of stuff? What are they doing out there today?
Right. So, as I mentioned earlier, sort of the push towards digital solutions, right? So having a robust ERP specifically built for the needs and requirements of the aviation industry is key. So being able to store that data, such as, person certifications, their skills, on-hand inventory en route from a vendor, or parts and components that are out to repair for vendors, all of that data needs to be compiled and properly analyzed. That also means applying, AI and ML capabilities to be able to throw in some predictive capabilities, such as the maintenance and aspects, and predicting lead times, for example, and suggesting the best vendor to go with for the delivery of a part. Having that ability within a robust platform, I think that's really a game changer. It really gives the MRO or the operator or the OEM a competitive advantage. As you know, they're always up against TAT times and those types of agreements. So being able to shave time off of that greatly gives them that edge over their competitors that they're looking for. So that's probably the primary way to get it done, Mark, is to have a robust solution that's tightly integrated between all the different business processes.
Yeah. So, so having the ability to be able to take all the factors that are being considered in your ability to be able to execute the work and put it into a plan. And then once it's in a plan and you have all those resources, hangars and people and materials and everything, skills, qualifications, all that. Once you have that into a plan, now being able to execute that effectively and then to be able to assign that work to people and manage that and track it and know what's going on. I mean, that's really the way that we can significantly optimize the amount of labor that it takes when we're working on aircraft in the hangar. That makes really a big difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you sort of alluded to it a little bit, that automation, right? The automation factor of no longer having to manually search for information or refer to paper documents. It's all right there visually in a nice blueprint for you to look at and for the user to consume. I think that shaves a lot of time off of those, non-value added activities. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm standing out here at Heathrow Airport in London, and we're getting ready to go to the AircraftIT Conference next week, where airlines, MROs, and vendors, all gather together for the specific purpose of looking at how can we optimize our IT, our digital, for flight and for maintenance. And so it's really a subject that's really important, and people are really looking at it closely. And if you're going to be out there at the AircraftIT Conference this week, stop by and see Mike and I. I'm going to be at a couple of different vendor booths, and but reach out to Mike. Mike, you have a booth there, right, at the conference?
Yeah, absolutely. Ramco Systems will be present in full force at the AircraftIT Conference going on next week out there in London. Our booth is E26. So feel free to stop by. Again, that's booth E26. Stop by, meet myself and some of my colleagues. We can also show you a little bit of our capability, have a discussion around how we could potentially help streamline your business. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Mike, one of the things that I think is really important in the industry, and I always continue to emphasize this, is that we need to not try to do this on our own. Okay, so many people have gone this path before and they've learned a lot. And why do we have to create everything all over again every time? Why not go talk to the vendors, talk to the people that have done this before, talk to the people that understand, something different than what you've maybe done in the past, and if we do that, we can really accelerate the process of being able to implement our digital if we don't just try to figure it all out on our own. I mean, I think that's really an important part of the process.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You want to avoid reinventing the wheel as much as possible. So
yeah,
it's good to sort of, meet with folks who have done this before and find some synergies and work to a more efficient process.
Yeah, perfect. It's really important that we find these ways to be more agile, as I said earlier in the broadcast, and to be able to help create efficiencies. Just think about it is that if we're creating efficiencies and if we're making our mechanics more efficient, then they're not having to, be delayed, or aircraft aren't being delayed, or if we have something happening on the line, maybe we have adequate resources to be able to go out to the line. But our systems, our transportation system is so stressed right now and stretched that any small thing that happens in the system today, causes, something to break and something to stop. And when I say to break, I mean something that causes it not to operate optimally is what I mean by that. Okay. And so putting in digital is absolutely one way that we can increase that margin and we can reduce cost and make it more effective. And so, listen, for those of you out there that are looking at different ideas and how you can optimize your IT out there today, leverage the people that are going to be at that conference next week. Stop by. I'm happy to talk to you. Mike's happy to talk to you. Let's have a conversation about what you can do in your operation to be able to optimize it with digital.
Yeah, sounds good, Mark. And again, thanks for having me, and looking forward to seeing you and everyone else next week.
Perfect. Excellent. Hey, listen, everybody, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And thanks for joining us today. We just wanted to do this short broadcast, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Fair winds and following seas to all of you. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Thanks.